All right. We good?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, well, good morning and welcome to the show. This is the Weekly Jargon. I am Jose Rodriguez.
And Rohi Zachariah.
And today, Rohi, we're trying a new system in the way we broadcast our Weekly Jargon show. And so if you hear some noises on the background, it's because our engineer here is trying to get situated. But once we get this up and running, again, we're still going to provide you really good content, provide you some local updates and things that are happening in our community. So let's start off with our current updates, Roy.
Yeah, with the City of Madera, we had our 6-lane expansion. So, I mean, you have a lot more probably information on that. Give us
Yeah. So the California Transportation Commission just recently awarded the funding so that we can get that 6-lane project from 12 to Avenue 12 to Avenue 7. And if any of you guys travel from Madera to Fresno or Fresno to Madera, you'll always notice that there's that pinch point, right? As soon as you get out on the freeway, it's all gravy when you're going down that 3-lane, but as soon as you get down to Avenue 12, then that kind of condenses back to a 2-lane.
Yeah.
And at times, when you're trying to make it out to Fresno, it's always a pain in the butt, right? And not only a pain in the butt, but it becomes a safety issue there because we've had the 2-lane system for many, many decades. Well, I'm not saying many, many decades, but many, many years. And, as we continue to grow in population, you also grow with more traffic or more congestion in these state highways. So I think this is a long-awaited project, and we're working now on the study for the other side, on the north side of 17 to 21. But this year, hopefully within the next 2 years, we'll see that expansion happen. And I know people don't like the word capacity building or expansion, but one thing I will tell you that as much as you think it's going to induce traffic, it's going to be more of a safety corridor. We have a lot of freight going through State Route 99. I mean, a lot of the goods and products come through down this major corridor. So I think it becomes a safety issue at some point, right? If you're traveling out to Fresno and back, you want to make sure that you're safe, and those 3 lanes certainly help with that.
Yeah, and it's built in. I mean, obviously the infrastructure for the most part's there. It's really just kind of maybe laying down the roadway, essentially, right? I mean, it's not going to be a huge disruption, I guess, as far as construction goes.
Yeah, and one of the things I think people look at is the cost, right, Rohi? The cost of why does it cost so many millions of dollars to get a project of this size, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that we've uncovered as commissioners of the transportation here in Madera County is that CEQA plays a big part in that, right? And there's, environmental protection acts that, such as one now that we're always debating is SB 743, which requires you to mitigate the amount of induced traffic. And what that means is with the project of this size, how much traffic are you expecting to increase, right? And sometimes you have to look at it, well, are you really increasing traffic?
Yeah.
Are you really increasing traffic, or are you just making that more a safer state highway, right? Because with it, obviously, you may have some, but you're not going to have more than what you have today, right? Unless there was a population growth all of a sudden, right? And that mitigation there at times, Rohi, can cost as much as the project itself. And that's what creates such a hard time for us to gather the funding so that we can get this project underway. And that's what makes it difficult, and that's why these projects take such a long time.
Yeah.
And I can assure you that this has been in the plans for quite some time, well over 10, 15
And
years.
what's, I guess, to your point, what is California or the people that are behind a lot of this, what is their view or their grand idea of traffic? I mean, like, we're building a roadway, they're mad at us because you're going to expand traffic, essentially, right? I mean, are they wanting us to, I mean, do we cut it down to 1 lane and say nobody can drive their car down it? I mean,
I think the misconception, Rohi, is that a lot of the think tanks that think about traffic, they think about it in areas that are highly urban, right? So we look at Southern California and you look at Northern California, and where populations are well over 1 million, right? So now you have these urban centers, and I think what makes sense to them is that we should be building high rises closer to these freeways or closer to your jobs so that you're not expanding so much, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in the Central Valley, predominantly the land is utilized for agriculture.
Yeah.
So you're going to have rural areas that require people to go to work, require freight to go in from certain areas, and it becomes a safety issue. It's not so much let's build these high rises within right next to the freeway so that we can reduce that congestion and or folks getting on the freeway. It's just that not all models fit the same way. Not all size fits everywhere, right? And we have different regions in California. We have a whole different topography. We fight a lot of different issues here in our valley, right? We have water concerns because of subsidence and Sigma getting involved. We have air quality issues. And when it comes to transportation, that's no different. We also have to face our transportation concerns, but I'd like to think that we're a little different, and in that we have to, you have to give regions the autonomy to kind of work with them with what they have, right? We're not in a high mountainous area. We're flat in the valley, right? So you work with what you have.
Well, I mean, I guess when you look at it and you look at a lot of the projects, it just kind of like you said, your point, which is, right now the traffic is for the most part flowing through Madera, right? It's not, I mean, there is traffic coming from Madera, maybe heading south or heading north, but a lot of the traffic is coming elsewhere, and it's moving goods or moving whatever, north to south, south to north. But to your point, like to mitigate that, to say, well, the guy that's going from Sacramento to LA, whatever reason he's going to LA, let's make it stop in Madera, right? That mitigates the traffic, but that's not the case. I mean, they have a destination they're going to, whether it's for work or, like I said, goods, because there's a port there. Like, we can't build a port in Madera, and say, okay, park your ship here and let's cut the traffic in half, right? I mean, it'd be great, but it's not really feasible, right? I mean,
The inland ports do exist, and I know that Merced, Atwater, Old Castle.
You'll flood the valley, though, if you build a port here.
Well,
so.
I mean, what they're trying to do as far as ports, though, they're called inland ports,
Okay.
where, trucks would come, and this would be a distribution hub, right, where people can come and like no different. They call them inland ports, not so much with water.
With boats and water.
Boats and water. Obviously, Stockton, Long Beach,
Yeah.
Oakland, these are the major ports, but they have to be able to bring goods and services down our corridors, and State Highway 99 and Interstate 5 are the ones that are used the most, and Madera sits smack in the middle. So being the heart of California, you're going to get traffic through this corridor, and unfortunately, having a two-lane highway in pinch points in Madera sometimes is not very, it's not very safe, because and you just go to Fresno in the morning, Rohi, and you'll see that every other car, if not, is a big freight truck.
But I guess my point is okay, let's imagine we build, like you're saying, this inland port. Madera's a hub. There's I mean, we have all the highways that come near us. Madera's prime. We build this giant hub. There's going to be more traffic. You know what I mean? So like the thing you kind of mitigated the traffic with is increasing the traffic, and then obviously when you go to build that as well, CEQA's going to kick in so it just seems like you always fight with yourself when it comes to CEQA. There's not really a clear goal.
I mean, I get what they're trying to do, right? They want to
Save
protect
the turtle.
They want to
okay.
protect the environment, because if we allow ourselves to expand in a fashion that is not regulated, we can do a lot more damage than we think, right? But you also can't just pull out the red tape on everything. You have to be able to be willing to work with industry, because if you understand industry means, hey, it's got to make sense for me. If it doesn't pencil out, then I have no business here. There's no way that I can pencil this out and make it work based on those heavy requirements that you're asking me to do, right? And the state continuously adds more and more layers, and with those layers comes the term affordable housing. And when we talk about affordable housing, what does affordable housing look like in the future, Rohi? That term, is tossed around back and forth depending on where we go, right? I hear it a lot in a lot of these conferences and what have you, but what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know, because that affordable housing with mitigation and all these, it's a lot more costlier now for every door. You would think that you can do a product, cookie cutter product, and make it so cheap that it'd be affordable, but it's not. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Because of so much regulation, and it's got to be done a certain way, then it becomes more expensive. And this is what you see today. You see that our housing prices here in the Central Valley are pretty expensive, that at one point it made it affordable. So it's not about affordable housing, it's Jiminy Christmas. Make homes affordable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, make them affordable for your average local that lives here in Madera.
Well, and I think that's a good transition to my housing I had for the last couple of days of camping. It was very affordable housing.
Was it? Yes, yes. And essentially, we may have to start doing that at some point, right?
Well, I mean, it's the beauty of being outdoors, and I guess we rough it for the most part, but not too much in some ways. But when you look around the campsites, that's why I kind of thought it would be, maybe this could tie together, is you see the differences in what people bring to go camping, right? Like, here's your campsite, you got dirt, you got a fire pit, everything else is on you, right? And some people are very minimal, and a lot of people they bring a whole house with them, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's we joke that it's an experience to what a homeless person must feel like, but I don't think it's quite close. But when you're talking about affordable housing, I think that's about as affordable as you're going to get in California, unless you go down to like Japan, where you get this like you buy a little 6x6 room that you get to sleep in.
It's sad, but again, Rohi, it's a way of living, and I have noticed that through these documentaries where certain Japanese that are middle age, and this is their home. It's just a small little room,
like
but
a coffin.
It has all the conveniences you want, because high tech and what have you, the advanced technology, but it makes it so convenient, low maintenance. But again, you're pretty much confined to this small little space. Look at the liberty that we have here and that we're trying to fight to preserve, right? We're always trying to fight. And when you say camping, I mean, I look at camping and let's just hope that CEQA doesn't get there and make your tents or your camping
imagine
gear.
an engineer coming in and inspecting our tent before we could go
This
inside.
is not good for
safe,
it's not good for the environment.
Yeah.
You're killing the squirrels with all your plastic stuff, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, people enjoy that freedom when you're out and about camping, right?
Yeah.
And it brings a joy that, hey, we're in this rat race every day, going through circles and the motions of what we do. And when we get out there, this is what makes it so difficult when you don't do it regularly. I'm one of those that wants to pack everything I think I'm going to need.
Yeah.
Right? Why can't I just be so minimal and just take the basics, right? Take some food for the weekend, one pair of pants, and whatever you're gonna do, but just enjoy nature.
Exactly.
And sometimes, I'm that kind of person that what if this happens? What if what if a bear comes? What if this happens? What if this? So I'm thinking of all the possible scenarios that could happen.
Yeah.
And before you know it, Rohi, I've overwhelmed myself with the amount of stuff that I can take. And sometimes it's just, I guess it would be better if we did this more consistently. And allowed myself to embrace myself to nature versus, bringing everything with me here, right? And
There was a guide that I was reading, and it was talking about that. Obviously, if you only do it once a year, it takes you quite a while to fine tune it. But it was saying like, essentially bring everything, and then whatever you don't use on that trip, basically don't bring it the next time, and it allows you to whittle down to the necessities. I mean, things that you're going to use. And then obviously if something happens, it's asking yourself, is it really truly like a trip-ending experience, or is it just an inconvenience that, okay, you know what, like this is the part of camping. Like this is, like, I don't know, like you run out of like ice or something, like, oh yeah, okay, some of your food might go bad. Okay, just eat what you have to, that's perishable that night, and then you know, everything else is going to be okay. You know, so it's little things like that where, you know, what are you trying to get to? You know, is it just a backpack, like a pair of pants and just, you know, a couple sandwiches to get you through the you know, the couple days that you're out? Or is it to have the most comfortable experience, you know?
Yeah. And I think, you know, we've done this with some friends, our kids, obviously, and I enjoy, believe it or not, I just enjoy building a fire. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I love going
Yeah.
out there with my little axe, getting some twigs, kindling the fire, and then just getting it started. And then I just enjoy just being around it.
Yeah.
And my kids actually enjoy that as well. And I look forward to that. I do. And but again, the trip or getting ready for the trip is what becomes very frustrating sometimes, because I want to make sure I didn't forget anything. All the conveniences that we have here, like you said, we want to carry them, and a lot of the times once you realize that you're there, you've overpacked for one day. Like
Oh, yeah.
you practice, and it's just.
Usually severely
Yeah.
overpacked. Yeah.
But how was the experience for you and your kids? Did you guys have a good time?
So this is actually our guys group that went
Oh,
out.
okay.
So no
How-
kids, so it's a little bit better. But
And this is where you about a week?
no, we went to it's 2.5 days.
Okay,
basically.
2.5 days,
Yeah,
okay.
So which doesn't require much packing.
Okay. Any hiking? Any trails that you guys did?
We did a trail. We went to Pinecrest, and you know, they got a lake there, so we hiked around the lake there. Got lost a little bit.
Okay.
Just for fun, I guess.
All right.
But it was definitely a nice experience. You know, the temperature was perfect. Not a lot of bugs. That's one of the things that we were comparing, because usually we go to Yosemite, and there's not a lot of bugs.
How was the weather? I mean, now that it's so hot out there, I wonder how
it
that
was,
went.
It was 80s. you
80s,
know?
okay.
Yeah, so it
and
was
during the
nice.
nighttime, I'm assuming it kind of came down a bit.
Not as much as you'd think.
Really?
You know, yeah, it was I would say a much more enjoyable experience. So.
Now, here's a question: when it comes to these exploration hikes
Mm-hmm.
and camping trips, obviously family is important, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you do take your family, would you have a different venue or planned camping site versus what you do out here because
Yeah.
of how these hikes can be strenuous maybe on the
Not
kids?
really. I mean, I think it's like, for the most part, it's pretty kid friendly. You know, I mean, we were joking, you know, as we were kind of like trying to figure out where we were at one point, is one, how easy it is to get lost, but you know, obviously having a lake and stuff, you know, that was kind of the mindset, is we know the water's off to the right, so we just kind of have to, you know, cut through a little bit and we'll find it again, which we did. But that's probably where, you know, the experience with kids, like maybe their concern of the unknown, like, oh, Dad, we're lost, you know, and being like, dude, we're only like 5 minutes, you know,
Yeah,
10 minutes away
yeah.
from society, you know, it's not that bad. So I think that's really where, and we talk about it, that's the memories, right? That's where, when we talk 3-4 years from now, you know, sitting around the campfire again, like, oh, remember that time when we got lost, you know? That's the enjoyable
Yeah,
part, you know?
yeah. No, and I think those are good memories to build, because you'd be surprised how many times my kids will remind me of something like that. And,
Yeah.
you know, I've been saying this here quite often. You know, my son turned, he's 18, went out to college, just down the street, right? And, you know, in a good way, it's good for me to see them grow, but at the same time, you see them like, okay, these guys are adults now. Now they're ready to do their own thing,
Yeah,
independent lives and everything. And,
Yeah.
and I guess just for that minute there, you know, I was caught off guard and said, damn, where did the time go? Where did this time go that my kids have just, one day we were at a camping trip, and now they're on their own. And pretty soon they may have a family of their own at some point, right?
Sure.
And in a snap of a finger, Rohi.
Yeah.
So it made me realize that, you know, when you have these opportunities like going out and camping, I mean, cherish them, because
Yeah.
they're memories, like you said, they're lasting memories. So what else so did you rough it out? Did you guys?
We did for the most part. I mean,
Okay.
they don't rough out on the food. They're food guys, so
Okay.
they you know, have filet mignon and
Oh, wow, okay.
burritos and stuff.
Okay.
They make sure their bellies are full.
Okay,
But
good.
most of it was, where the rest of it was roughing. I mean, we just
So you set up, you pitch your tent.
pitch tent, you know, cots and, you know, sleeping bags, and just kind of hang out. You know,
Okay.
just enjoy ourselves and
That's awesome.
went in the water for a little bit, and yeah, makes it fast though. It's a fast
Yeah,
trip.
you know, when I was taking my daughter and my son over to campfire,
Uh-huh.
you know, I thought you would pitch up a tent, but it was surprising that you just take your cot and you lay it out there. They have a like a cover so that the pine needles don't come down on you. But other than that, you're out in the open. And at first, you know, it took me a while to like, hey, wait a minute, this is out here, nowhere. But I'm not the only one there, right? You have all these kids and students that are out there, and then you have the other counselors. So you embrace that after like a day or two. You start like, okay, I can sleep better. It's cold, so you're tucked in. And by the time you wake up in the morning, okay, I like this, I can do this. And for that week that we did it there, Rohi, I really enjoyed it. I mean, after 5 days, don't get me wrong, I was done.
You're ready to go, yeah.
But within those, I lost myself in that environment. And I think camping brings the best out of people sometimes because it's out of the norm, right?
Yeah.
How often do you do this, and what's the history there?
We do it once a year, and it goes along with, so it was my college roommates. It's his dad's birthday. So every year they would do a trip, traditionally to Yosemite, but they messed up on their booking this year. So but I think, like I said, I think Pinecrest is a much better experience after everything. But that's kind of the tradition, is that it's just related to his dad's birthday, and they would just usually, like I said, do either Half Dome or something like that, which I got to do with them a couple times. And so, yeah,
That's one experience I'd love to take on, is Half Dome. And
yeah, having done it once, I would say do it once and you know, check that off your box, because it definitely is an enduring experience, and yeah, it's something you got to experience.
Is that something you would recommend? Like, I mean, now you have a young son too, right? He's probably what, 15, 16?
Yeah, 14.
14.
Yeah.
I mean, would that be something at that age that appropriate to go, or is it a little older?
You know, I would say maybe just a little bit older, and only because, I mean, the trip from camp to just the base, I forgot how many hours it was. I mean, we left at like 3 in the morning, I think, and it was, I think, a good almost, 6 hours, I think, to the base. I can't remember. It's been a while, but I mean, you're burning all your energy just to get there, and then you got to climb the dome, which the dome in itself is, it's a mental thing, because there's not a whole lot. There's a lot that can kill you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think the fact that you know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't help. Like we're going up, and we're like, yeah, did you hear like 2 weeks ago somebody died on here? And you're like, oh, okay, great, yeah. So that's a possibility now. You know.
Yeah.
But then you see old people do it, and you see all ages kind of doing it, and you have to kind of know yourself. And
Now, when you're when you're descending or you're coming back down, what's the? I mean, because now you're going against gravity, right? You're trying to restrain from allowing yourself to fall, right? So you're adding a different type of.
You're already exhausted. Now you're exhausted more. You're coming down the mountain. I mean, again, it's got its challenges. Thankfully, for the most part, people that are doing it they're in the same boat. So if you're like, hey, I need a minute, they're like, okay, it's cool. They're feeling the same way.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's been exciting. I'm glad that we had an opportunity to discuss a bit about camp, because up there in camp there is no state highways, right?
Not yet.
You got State Route 41, but I think you'd have to steer off a bit more, a couple of miles off of that. But I thought it was important for us to share that because, again, having those 6 lanes coming through Madera are going to be a big help for our traffic here, for folks here, people that commute, and make it a safety component as well. And we hope to bring you some better news when we do get the allocation for the other segment. And we're fighting for that as commissioners of the Madera County Transportation. All of our commissioners and our board, executive directors and staff, I can't say that if it wasn't, it's because of everybody's hard work. So with that, Rohi, I don't know if you have anything else to add, but I'm glad you had a good time in your camping, and I'm gonna have to take you up on that one of these days.
We do it.
Yep. All right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you again for watching. You have a great